All right. Welcome to my new studio. But most importantly, welcome to a story about your experience with needing confidence. One of the things that people struggle with when it comes to confidence is not knowing how to get it on demand. But today, I'm going to show you when you are feeling unconfident or unconnected in your speaking. How can you generate more confidence immediately? Stick around and you'll find out how.
Welcome to the Sam Linton Show, the podcast designed to help you shift your mindset, find your voice, and change your world. Sam is a pastor, coach, and expert communicator, helping leaders and entrepreneurs like you step into their purpose, speak with confidence, and make a lasting difference. So let's dive in.
All right, well, before we get into the meat of what we're going to be talking about today, I am broadcasting to you live. Well, it's not live when you hear this, but live from the new Sam Linton Show studio. I've been working on it for a couple months. Is it perfect? Not at all. Not a bit. Is it cooler than upstairs? Absolutely. Does it have a neon sign that says Sam Linton Show in the back? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. For those of you that are listening, it might be worth it. It's like, you know how you'll see shows that are on television and they will show you like cooking, like Gordon Ramsay, like he has the beef Wellington. My kids were watching Kitchen Nightmares earlier. But you wish you could smell what it's like to be in that kitchen. That's how you should feel if you're just listening to this episode and not watching it, because it is premium bueno. It's good stuff. So I have some lights. I got a chair. It's not that impressive, but it's mine and it's a new space. So either way, welcome to the Sam Linton Show. Confidence. So I was in fourth grade, and between me and you, I was not the most popular kid. I was one of those kids that got picked on quite a bit. I had some learning problems because I had a lot of social anxiety, which is, when I tell people this, they think I'm making it up, because everything I do in my profession, whether it's at the church or with my clients, my coaching clients, it's all with people. Everything is people. It's people for days. So it was odd, but I wasn't always like this. I had struggles with who I was. And it was in that moment in fourth grade at the talent show where everything changed. I remember sitting in the back of the stage, and this is, mid-90s, so it was early 90s, I should say, so it was a different day and age, and I was one of the only fourth graders competing. And I had been working with the music teacher for a while on this performance. I was going to sing Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror. Now, right when I was about to get on and the music was about to play, I started to think that maybe I shouldn't do this. I started to think that the kids that had picked on me, maybe they were right. I started to believe that maybe this was me reaching for the stars and I should just say I'm not going to do it. I should fake a sick stomach. Sorry, yes, I would have done that. But what I did instead was I did something that I would do time and time again for the next several decades up until this very moment. I channeled confidence. And the problem with confidence is when it's discussed, a lot of people will paint this picture as if it is this mysterious thing that you have to have all of the confidence all at once. Like, you need to be completely confident, the most confident version of yourself right now, like as if that's what you have to worry about. And in truth, confidence can actually happen on demand. So today, I want to share with you the framework that I used Now, I didn't know what I was doing back then, but there's a framework that I have built that I've used with my clients and what I'm going to share with you if you were to work with me, and I call it the confidence repository. Now, no images, but it's easy for you to visualize. So picture confidence in the center, just a circle. All I want to do is picture like a little circle and almost like a small marble. Like you couldn't really do much. You can't play a game of kickball with this confidence. It's small. And the question is, how do I get that confidence? How do I get that self-assurance? What do I do when I'm about to speak? What do I do to get that confidence up? Because as of right now, it's low, so I want to get it up. So how do I do that? Well, there's a couple things you need to realize, and I've touched on this before, but you can, in fact, summon, I don't like the word summon, you can borrow or repurpose confidence from other areas and put them into your needs of a confidence repository. You have other areas of your life that you've done well in. If you're an executive, there is no question in my mind that you have more confidence on demand than what you're giving yourself credit for. The problem is you don't have confidence in this particular area. It would be like me becoming he's kind of like my adoptive brother. Bill is a pilot, and he's an engineer as well. So he does like software engineering, and I've gone up with him flying before, and he will occasionally do that thing where he lets me control the plane in just little micro moments of doing that. Well, in that moment, there is absolutely no confidence. I don't have any confidence whatsoever. I'm afraid. What if I do something? What if I bump something with my leg? What if I do this? And in reality, he's not going to let the plane go out of his control. He's just not going to let it happen. But in that moment, when I'm doing something new, I don't have confidence. And if you don't speak regularly, you are not going to have instant confidence to be like, ooh, I can kill this. Like I have been a professional public speaker, a speaking coach, a trainer for decades. So it doesn't require as much confidence for me to do that as it does for me to do new things. But if you don't speak all the time, if you don't have to speak to hundreds of people on a weekend like I do for the church, if you don't get up and do workshops with corporations, that's going to be a stretch because you're not used to doing it. So of course, you're not going to have a lot of confidence with doing that. Of course, if you were hired for the job and you being the one who is providing the numbers and not providing the meeting notes, if that's new for you, of course you're not going to have confidence. So how do we get it? I am so glad you asked, and I'm going to tell you that you can borrow from 4 areas. So picture your little sad marble circle, bloop, 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 like it's all by itself. It's like a little circle, and it's asking, who can help me? How can I? I'm giving it a voice for some reason, but this is instead of giving you a visual. So you will see an arrow coming from another larger circle. And this is the first area that you can borrow confidence from. This area is an area called personal strengths. Personal strengths. Now, what is personal strengths? It's exactly what you think it is. What would, I should say, let me rephrase that. What would people know about you when it comes to what you're strong in? Some of you are extremely organized and meticulous. Like you are the person who plans the events for the vacation because you are detail oriented to a fault. Some of you, when you have to entertain, you're the life of the party. You make sure everybody has food. You make sure everybody has drinks. Like you're the one that can make sure that everybody is happy, and you're that person. Some of you, your personal strength is tenacity. You don't give up for anything. If there is a sign over a door and it says do not enter, you are going to find a way to enter that door. You are persistent. You built your career this way. Some of you, you're overcomers. You've overcome adversity to the point where people would write a book about what you've gone through. You maybe had some bad experiences with a marriage, and you came through that, and you are persistent. You are an overcomer, and you would say that about yourself. So that is one area. Personal strengths, personal things. Like, think about adjectives that you would describe of yourself. Think about if you caught somebody gossiping about you in a good way, they would say this about you, that you are not afraid to admit, hey, I'm funny. So mine would be humor. I have been in a lot of dark situations. I've been a minister for 21 years. And because of that, I'm able to very quickly make sure that my mindset is right, even if I'm dealing with a discouraging situation. Doesn't mean that I don't have empathy, but what it means is I can easily turn something that might be sad or awkward and make it funny or dealable. And I'm not saying I make jokes about dark things. Maybe I do that. But I'm saying I don't let it get to me. I'm saying my sense of humor at times has been my saving grace throughout my life. And it still continues to be. So humor is one of mine, funny. Another personal strength I have is I am pretty good with dealing with people. I'm good in a room. I'm good with helping people. I make people feel disarmed. I don't intimidate people. I don't think I do. And so these are things where I'd say I'm not intimidating. I'm approachable. I am disarming. These are personal traits, personal strengths that I could say, okay, if I can be confident, if I can be known as these things over here, I can borrow from the confidence I have in those areas and put it into my confidence repository. And then all of a sudden, whoop, it's like the Grinch's heart. You know how it grows 5 inches whenever he sees little Whoville and he realizes he can bring back the spirit of Christmas and all that jazz. That's what's happening to your confidence right now. But it doesn't just have to be from personal traits. It doesn't have to be from those strengths. In fact, one of the other ways that you can get strength and confidence about your speaking is past wins. Now, past wins, they are an amazing thing that you can use to give yourself confidence where you're not. So past win. So think about the last time you went up for a promotion and you got it. Think about the last time that you had a sporting match and you maybe won and you won a tournament. Think about how you accomplished getting that degree done while also working full time. Think about how you were managed to raise your children as a single mom and still put bread and food on the table. These are past wins. What have you succeeded in? Now, I'll caution you about this one because you want to make sure to the best degree that you can to try to look for the past wins in the close arena of your professional life for the purposes of speaking. So, for example, if you're an executive, and most of the people that listen to this are leaders or executive leaders, you have hired people. You have fired people. You went through that weird phenomenon that happened in 2020 called COVID-19. And you're still here to tell the story, even though the business suffered, you kept it afloat, you kept it moving, or maybe your business didn't succeed and you reinvented yourself in a new business in 2020. Whatever that is, your past wins can fuel your confidence repository. Your past wins of where you succeeded. Doing something that might have been challenging or surprising could fuel your ability to get more confidence now. So you could say, look, if I won over here by doing this, I can speak over here by doing this. It's not apples to apples, I agree. Coming through a divorce, overcoming COVID is not the same as getting up in front of hundreds of people and speaking, but it required confidence for you to do that thing in one area. So why not give yourself a little bit of a victory lap and tell yourself that you, in fact, can have confidence because of what you've done in another area. So past wins, that's another one. Okay, this one is a little bit different, but I'm going to tell you that this is one of the most helpful things. You can get and borrow confidence from other communicators that you admire. So we have so far personal strengths, we have past wins, and we have communicators that you admire. Now, how in the world could you get confidence from Tony Robbins? How in the world could you get confidence from Brené Brown? Simple. There was something about a past communicator that when you saw them speak, something happened inside you. You looked at them and thought, oh, I want to do that. Oh, I could speak like that. Wouldn't it be cool if I could run a sales meeting the way Russell Brunson would? Or wouldn't it be amazing if I could do a motivational talk the way John Acuff does? Or what if I talked about leadership the way John Maxwell does? And you start to get this list of virtual mentors, people that you admire their confidence from a distance. And then all of a sudden, you see things in their presentations that you can borrow for yours. An example, I told you about my Michael Jackson talent show. Well, what made me go out there and perform Man in the Mirror to the wonderful, rousing, standing ovation success of that elementary school gym, what was it? Well, I didn't have affirmations because that wasn't going well for me. I didn't have those kinds of things. Those personal strengths, I didn't have it. I didn't have past wins under my belt yet. Fourth grade, how much could you get? But you know what I did? I looked at Michael Jackson and I saw how he performed. And I saw the way that he captivated an audience. And I thought, all I have to do is do what he does. And then I was off to the races. I did the spin. I, tried to stand on my toes. I almost broke my leg. That's, a different story. I survived to tell the tale. But most notably, what I did was I forgot about the fact that I didn't have confidence. And for that moment, for just that instant, I borrowed the confidence of a Michael Jackson performance and I brought it into that auditorium. And you can do the same thing. Think about a communicator that you admire. Think about someone that you could listen to on a podcast, obviously me, or a stand-up comedian or somebody. Think about that admired communicator and think about what it would be like if you had that confidence. And then, instead of just thinking about them, watch a video, listen to a podcast, maybe kind of go over some YouTube shorts, and then realize that there's some observable behaviors about that communicator that you yourself could replicate as a person looking for confidence. Yes, you could do that. Yes, this works. Now, it's not perfect, and no, you aren't going to necessarily own every single thing that communicator does. But if you can't find something for you that you like, that you do well, you can certainly grab it from another communicator that you admire. So imitation is what they say the best form of flattery. It's also sometimes the quickest way to get that marble in your confidence repository to expand, right? So we got it. So we have personal strengths, we have past wins, we have admired communicators. Now, let's say I don't know any of these things, or let's say maybe I'm not doing well with all of these things. I'm going to give you the final one. And this isn't the best one. None of these are in order in terms of what's most important. They're in order in terms of whatever you have to do to get that confidence repository filled. What am I going to do? The fourth one, and this one's a little tricky, but I'm going to tell you how to navigate it, is affirmations from others. Affirmations from others. So this is very close to, if not a neighbor to, personal strengths. Personal strengths are what you believe about yourself to be the characteristics that make you a confident human. Affirmations, on the other hand, are what other people have said about you that have given you confidence. So, I will walk the line with this one because you have to be careful not to only rely on other people's affirmations. There's a quote, I don't know who to attribute it to. I've said it before, it was a preacher quote, but the quote is, if you live by other people's compliments, you will die by their criticisms. So you have to be careful to not conflate all of your confidence into the one bucket of affirmations. But what you can do, and do it safely, is you can take people who have come alongside you, maybe mentors, maybe people in your life who have helped you, maybe a boss, a former employer, maybe even a family member, and look at what they've said about you in a good way. Think about what they've said about you in a really good way. I will do this, and this is a thing I do at the church. If I have a couple who, let's say how do I say this nicely? Their marriage is not what it should be, all right? Things aren't going well, and they're struggling, like they're going through some things, which happens to everybody. But I will talk to them both together. But if I catch one of them individually, what I'll try to do is I will try to get them to talk about their spouse in a positive way. Or I will initiate positive gossip about their spouse. I'm like, hey, Chris, he really, really works hard. He covered that extra shift overnight to make sure that you guys were able to go on vacation. That's awesome. And then I kind of wait. Listen to what the spouse says. And Janet will say, oh, you know what? Yeah, he really does work hard. And then when I talk to the other spouse, I'll say, hey, Chris, you know what Janet said about you? She said she remembered that you worked really, really hard to make sure that you could go on vacation. And I could tell she really admired that about you. And just hearing that their spouse said something positive about them, sometimes it shifts the way they look at them. You know how that when you were in school, and this is a weird analogy, but it's late, so I'll just throw it out there anyway. Remember when you were in high school or middle school, and you were kind of not interested in somebody that had a crush on you, and after a day or two of realizing they had a crush on you, you're like, oh, they're kind of cute. I get it. It might be a little awkward. Maybe I do like them. All right. That's the way it was with my wife. She followed me everywhere before we got married. She was obsessed with me. I can't help it. Of course, this is not true. She's beautiful. I married up, and that's all the case. But she did have a crush on me, and I wasn't interested until I saw, okay, this girl likes me, and so that was how we started dating, and it just stuck with me. So that affirmation will sometimes give you enough in your confidence repository. So make a list, if you will, of the things that people have said about you. You're hardworking, you're determined, you don't quit. Think about people that maybe don't necessarily compliment you well. That's a great person to get an affirmation from. Is somebody that you would say, oh, that person's kind of a jerk. And if they say something nice about you, they mean it. You know that it's true. And so you want to kind of take that and look at those and add some fuel to your confidence repository. So this is a shorter, I think it's pretty short. 22 minutes, that's good enough. Close enough for government work. Of course, all of these things, this is just one thing that I work on my clients with as I'm working through with their speaking, their communication, and I would love to help you. If you are looking to transform your communication, I am your person. I'd love to help you. I'd love to evaluate your speaking. Of course, you could email me at podcast@samuellinton.com, and I would love to set you up with a quick free call. We could do an hour. I could evaluate some things, maybe look at some goals and work with you on some things. But the bottom line is you will take the more confident version of yourself wherever you go. So to sum it up, if your confidence repository, that little marble, needs to grow, what do? Number 1, personal strengths. What do you know about yourself that is unique and strong? Number 2, past wins. Tell us exactly what you did and how you defeated that dragon. What did you do? What did you overcome? What did you win? What kind of accomplishment did you have? What did you do that other people would not do? Next of all, admired communicators. Who do you like watching? Do you like those comedians? Do you like looking at Broadway performers? Do you enjoy looking at certain actors and their poise and how they handle being in the spotlight? And also, affirmations. Who has said something about you that you wish you would have gotten them to write down? Who has given you affirmations? And what in those affirmations do you hear that you could pull truth from, extract it, if you will, and pour it into your confidence repository? Either way, the best way to communicate is by being the most confident version of yourself. So, with that said, thank you for tuning into the Sam Linton Show. Please share this with someone that's looking for a little more confidence. In the meantime, shift your mindset, find your voice, change your world. See you next time. I'd love to connect with you and help you in your speaking endeavors. Bye-bye.